Have you ever witnessed a loved one, perhaps a parent or grandparent, diligently following the advice of a lifetime, only to find it failing them when they need it most? Imagine Margaret, a spirited 78-year-old from sunny California, who prided herself on her daily 2-mile walk through the neighborhood park. It was her ritual, her badge of honor, her proof that she was staying active and healthy. Yet, one crisp autumn afternoon, a slight unevenness in the pavement, a momentary lapse in concentration, sent her tumbling to the ground. The resulting hip fracture was not just a physical injury, it was a devastating blow to her independence and her confidence. Margaret's story, and countless others like it, raises a profoundly unsettling question. What if the single most common piece of health advice we've been given, to walk more, becomes counterproductive or even dangerous after a certain age? It sounds like heresy, a direct contradiction to everything we've been taught. But a growing consensus among geriatric specialists and physical therapists suggests that for adults over the age of 75, the relentless pursuit of mileage can be a misguided strategy. The narrative is beginning to shift from a simplistic focus on the quantity of steps to a more intelligent, nuanced understanding of the quality of movement and the foundational pillars that truly support a long, vibrant, and independent life. This is not a call for a sedentary lifestyle, far from it. It is a call to be smarter, more strategic, and more holistic in our approach to aging. It's about understanding that the body of an 80-year-old is not just an older version of a 40-year-old's body. Its needs have fundamentally changed. Instead of simply walking harder, we must learn to live smarter. Over the course of our discussion today, we will delve into 6 powerful, often overlooked secrets that can serve as a new blueprint for thriving in your later years. These principles are designed to build a resilient foundation that supports not just mobility, but true, sustainable wellness. The final secret is one that is rarely discussed in clinical settings, yet it may be the most crucial of all. If you are over 75 or care for someone who is, this conversation could be a turning point. It's an invitation to re-examine long-held beliefs and embrace a more effective path to longevity. If you believe it's time for a smarter approach to health in our later years, please support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing, and be sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss these vital conversations. The first and most critical secret, the very bedrock upon which all other movement depends, is the mastery of balance. After our mid-70s, our sense of equilibrium begins a subtle but steady decline. This isn't a personal failing, it's a natural physiological process. The delicate hair cells in our inner ear, which act like tiny gyroscopes, become less sensitive. The signals from the nerves in our feet and legs that tell our brain where we are in space, a sense called proprioception, can become slower and less distinct. The result is a body that is less able to make the instantaneous, subconscious adjustments needed to remain upright, especially on uneven surfaces or during a sudden turn. This is why a simple crack in the sidewalk can become a catastrophic hazard. A fall for a senior is rarely just a fall. It is often the horrifying catalyst for a cascade of negative events. Fractures, hospitalizations, surgeries, a prolonged and difficult rehabilitation, and, perhaps most insidiously, a deep-seated fear of falling again. This fear can become a prison, leading to a self-imposed reduction in activity that ironically accelerates physical decline. This is where the paradigm shift from walking more to walking smarter becomes so vital. Instead of adding another mile to your walk, dedicating just 10 minutes a day to specific balance training can yield far greater protective benefits. Consider Helen, a 78-year-old retired teacher from a quiet town in Vermont. She loved her walks, but had grown terrified of the icy winter sidewalks, and even in summer, she found herself staring at her feet, anxious about every pebble and tree root. Her world was shrinking. At her daughter's urging, she began a simple balance routine. She started by standing near her kitchen counter, holding on for support, and practicing lifting one foot off the ground for just a few seconds at a time. Over weeks, she progressed to holding on with one finger, then to letting go entirely. She practiced heel-to-toe walking, placing one foot directly in front of the other, as if on a tightrope, using a seam in her living room carpet as a guide. These weren't strenuous or exhausting exercises, but they were retraining her brain and body to work in harmony. The change was profound. Helen noticed she could walk with her head held high, enjoying the scenery again. She felt steady on the grassy lawn at her grandson's baseball games and regained the confidence to navigate the grocery store aisles without clutching the cart for dear life. She hadn't increased her walking distance, but she had fundamentally improved the quality and safety of every step she took. Balance training is not about athletic prowess. It is the quiet, daily work of fortifying your independence. That was the very first secret, the essential foundation of balance. It's a simple concept with life-changing implications. If you recognize the importance of this first principle and are inspired to make balance a priority, please let us know by commenting with the number 1 below. Your feedback helps us understand what resonates most with you. Flowing directly from the stability of balance is our second secret, the cultivation of flexibility and joint mobility. Think of your body as a complex and beautiful machine. While strength provides the engine's power, flexibility is the lubrication that ensures all the moving parts, the hinges of your joints, the pulleys of your tendons, operate smoothly and without friction. As we age, our muscles and connective tissues naturally lose elasticity and hydration, leading to a pervasive feeling of stiffness. This isn't just a minor annoyance that makes the first few steps in the morning feel creaky. This creeping rigidity quietly sets the stage for pain, poor posture, and a heightened risk of injury. When your hips are tight, for example, your lower back is forced to compensate, leading to chronic aches. When your shoulders have a limited range of motion, a simple act like reaching for a book on a high shelf can result in a painful strain. Walking alone does little to address this. In fact, repetitive motion without proper flexibility can sometimes exacerbate muscle imbalances and tightness. This is why dedicating time to gentle stretching and mobility work is not an optional luxury, but a core component of healthy aging. Let's meet Arthur, a 76-year-old retired auto mechanic from Detroit. Arthur had spent his life on his feet and working with his hands, and he had the stiff back and sore knees to prove it. He was a committed walker, but he found that getting out of his favorite armchair was becoming a multi-stage, groan-filled process. His doctor explained that while walking was great for his heart, it wasn't doing anything for the rust in his joints. Arthur was skeptical, but he agreed to try a simple morning routine before he even had his coffee. Sitting on the edge of his bed, he would perform gentle neck rolls, slow shoulder shrugs and circles, and seated spinal twists. He would extend one leg at a time, pointing and flexing his ankle to lubricate the joint. It felt ridiculously simple, almost pointless at first. But within a few weeks, Arthur felt a remarkable difference. The movements became more fluid, the chronic ache in his lower back began to subside, and he could bend down to tie his shoes without a strategic plan of action. He described it as feeling like he had used a can of WD-40 on his own body. The beauty of flexibility work is that it requires consistency, not intensity. You don't need to contort yourself into pretzel-like yoga poses. Simple, dynamic stretches that move your joints through their full, comfortable range of motion are incredibly powerful.
This practice increases blood flow to the muscles and nourishes the synovial fluid within the joints, which acts as a natural cushion and lubricant. There is a powerful mental component as well. When your body feels less constricted and painful, your mind is more at ease. This can lead to improved sleep, reduced anxiety, and a greater sense of overall well-being. Flexibility supports balance by allowing your body to react more gracefully to a stumble, and it protects you from injury by ensuring that shock is absorbed efficiently throughout the kinetic chain, rather than being jolted into one vulnerable joint. It is the art of maintaining a supple, responsive body that can move through the world with ease and without fear. The story of Arthur and the feeling of being stuck is something many of us can relate to, regardless of age. That feeling of liberation through movement is truly powerful. Do you have a favorite stretch or a routine that helps you feel more fluid and free? Share your tips and experiences in the comments section below. Your suggestion might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. With a body that is stable and fluid, we must then turn to the fuel that powers it. This brings us to our third essential secret, embracing strategic nutritional intelligence. As we navigate our years beyond 75, the rules of nutrition change significantly. Our metabolism naturally slows down, meaning we require fewer calories to maintain our weight. But paradoxically, our need for certain key nutrients actually increases. The body's ability to absorb essential vitamins and minerals from food can become less efficient. This creates a critical challenge. We need to get more nutritional bang for every caloric buck. Simply eating less of the same old diet is a recipe for malnutrition, fatigue, and a weakened immune system. A smarter approach is not about dieting or deprivation, but about a conscious and strategic effort to consume nutrient-dense foods that directly address the physiological changes of aging. One of the most critical macronutrients for seniors is protein. As we age, we are all susceptible to a condition called sarcopenia, which is the progressive loss of muscle mass and strength. This loss of muscle is a primary driver of frailty, reduced mobility, and increased fall risk. Walking can help maintain the muscle you have, but it cannot build new muscle or effectively combat sarcopenia without the proper building blocks, and that means adequate protein.
Many seniors, often due to changes in appetite, dental issues, or simply habit, unknowingly fall short of their protein needs. Linda, a 77-year-old retired librarian from Florida, is a perfect example. She considered her diet healthy. It was full of salads, toast, and tea. Yet she felt perpetually drained and found herself getting weaker each year. A consultation with a nutritionist revealed a severe protein deficiency. By making simple swaps, adding Greek yogurt or eggs to her breakfast, incorporating a scoop of protein powder into a fruit smoothie, ensuring a portion of lean chicken, fish, or beans with her lunch and dinner, Linda transformed her energy levels. She felt stronger, more robust, and the persistent feeling of fatigue lifted like a fog. Beyond protein, other micronutrients become critically important. Calcium and vitamin D are the dynamic duo for bone health, working together to prevent osteoporosis and reduce fracture risk. Vitamin B12 is essential for nerve function and the creation of red blood cells, yet its absorption can be impaired in older adults. Magnesium plays a role in hundreds of bodily functions, including muscle contraction and nerve signaling. Focusing on a colorful plate, rich in leafy greens, vibrant berries, deep orange sweet potatoes, and a variety of lean proteins and healthy fats is a simple way to ensure a broad spectrum of these vital nutrients. Hydration is another stealthy but crucial factor. The sensation of thirst can diminish with age, making it easy to become dehydrated, which can lead to confusion, dizziness, and kidney problems. Sipping water, herbal tea, or even eating water-rich foods like melon and soup throughout the day is essential. This focus on nutrition is a profound act of self-care.
It's about providing your body with the high-quality raw materials it needs to repair tissue, support brain function, maintain strength, and fight off illness. This focus on strategic nutrition is our third key to unlocking a more vibrant and energetic life in our later years. It's about fueling your body for the life you want to live. If you believe that what we eat is fundamental to healthy aging and you found this information insightful, please comment with the number 3 below to show your agreement and support. Now that we have fortified the body with balance, flexibility, and proper fuel, we must turn our attention inward to the control center of our entire being. Our fourth and deeply personal secret is the active fortification of mental and emotional well-being. In the landscape of aging, the connection between the mind and body is not just a philosophical concept, it is a tangible biological reality.
The health of our brain and our emotional state can profoundly influence our physical vitality, and vice versa. After 75, individuals may face a unique constellation of emotional challenges: the loss of a spouse or close friends, retirement from a lifelong career, a decline in physical abilities, or a growing sense of isolation. These experiences can lead to feelings of anxiety, grief, or depression, which, if left unaddressed, can create a devastating downward spiral. Emotional distress can suppress the immune system, disrupt sleep, increase inflammation, and drain the motivation needed to engage in the very health-promoting behaviors we've been discussing. Consider the story of Harold, a 79-year-old retired engineer from a bustling suburb of Chicago. Following the death of his wife of 50 years, Harold, a man who was once the life of every party, withdrew into his home. Physically, he was healthy, but a shadow had fallen over his spirit. He lost interest in his hobbies, declined invitations from his children, and spent his days in a quiet, lonely haze. His physical health began to suffer. He lost weight, and his blood pressure crept up. It was his granddaughter who finally convinced him to join a local senior center's woodworking group. At first, he went reluctantly, but as he began to work with his hands again, sharing stories and laughter with other men his age, something began to shift. The sense of purpose and camaraderie rekindled a spark within him. This social connection was not just a pleasant distraction, it was potent medicine for his mind and soul. Nurturing mental well-being is a multifaceted endeavor. It involves keeping the mind sharp and engaged. This can be achieved through activities that challenge you, such as learning a new skill like painting or playing the ukulele, tackling crossword puzzles, reading widely, or even taking free online courses from universities. It also means actively cultivating social connections. Humans are fundamentally social creatures, and meaningful relationships provide a buffer against loneliness and a source of emotional support that is critical for resilience. Furthermore, it is essential to develop healthy coping mechanisms for stress. Practices like mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, spending time in nature, or listening to calming music can help regulate the nervous system and mitigate the harmful effects of chronic stress. It is also vitally important to destigmatize seeking professional help. There is no shame in speaking with a therapist or counselor to navigate grief, anxiety, or depression. It is a sign of strength and self-awareness. Prioritizing your mental and emotional health is not selfish. It is the act of tending to the garden of your inner world, ensuring it remains a place of peace, resilience, and joy, which will in turn allow your physical health to blossom. Your mental health is a precious asset, just as important as your physical strength. It deserves daily attention and care. If these insights have brought value to you and you're committed to nurturing your mind as well as your body, please support our mission by subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell.
Your support helps us continue to create content that informs and inspires our community. With a foundation of balance, flexibility, nutrition, and mental fortitude, we arrive at the fifth and perhaps most empowering secret, the non-negotiable necessity of strength conditioning. For decades, the image of a senior lifting weights was an anomaly, often seen as risky or something reserved for younger bodybuilders. This perception is not only outdated but dangerously incorrect. After the age of 75, engaging in regular strength training is arguably one of the single most powerful interventions available to preserve independence, dramatically reduce the risk of falls, and enhance overall quality of life. As we've mentioned, the natural process of sarcopenia relentlessly robs us of muscle mass. Walking, while beneficial for cardiovascular health, is not enough to stop this decline. Strength conditioning is the direct and most effective antidote. It's not about building bulky muscles, it's about cultivating functional strength, the kind of real-world power that allows you to rise from a low chair with ease, carry a bag of groceries into the house, lift a grandchild for a hug, or push yourself up from the floor after a fall. Let's revisit the story of Robert, a 79-year-old retired engineer from Texas. Robert had always been a fix-it guy, but he noticed his physical capacity was waning. He struggled to lift his toolbox, and a day of yard work left him exhausted for the next 2. He viewed strength training with suspicion until his physical therapist framed it in a way that resonated with his engineering mind. She explained that his skeleton was the frame of a structure, and his muscles were the support beams. As the beams weakened, the entire structure became unstable and vulnerable to collapse. This clicked for Robert. He started a simple, twice-weekly routine at home, using resistance bands and a pair of light dumbbells. He performed seated rows, wall push-ups, and chair squats, focusing on slow, controlled movements. The transformation was not just physical. Within a few months, he not only felt stronger, but also more capable and self-reliant. The psychological boost of reclaiming his strength was immense. He was back to tinkering in his garage and could play actively with his grandchildren without fear of fatigue or injury. He was, in his own words, re-engineering his own body for a longer warranty. Experts stress that strength training does more than just build muscle. It increases bone density, helping to combat osteoporosis. It improves insulin sensitivity and boosts metabolism, which aids in weight management and reduces the risk of type 2 diabetes. It enhances the neural connections between the brain and the muscles, improving coordination and reaction time, which directly supports balance. The best part is that it is accessible to nearly everyone. You don't need a fancy gym membership. A program can be built around body weight exercises, inexpensive resistance bands, or even common household items like soup cans or water jugs. The key is to start slowly, focus on proper form to prevent injury, and progressively challenge your muscles. It is essential to consult with a doctor or physical therapist to design a plan that is safe and appropriate for your individual health status. Shifting some of the time and energy once dedicated to long, arduous walks into focused strength sessions is a strategic investment that pays dividends in every aspect of your life. It is the act of becoming the architect of your own strength, building a more resilient, capable, and confident you. This fifth secret, building strength, is a true game changer in the quest for a long and independent life. It's about actively fighting back against frailty. If you are now convinced of the power of strength conditioning and are ready to make it a part of your life, let us know by commenting with the number 5 below. Let's make a collective commitment to getting stronger at every age. We have now explored 5 fundamental pillars: the stability of balance, the fluidity of movement, the fuel of nutrition, the resilience of the mind, and the power of strength. But our final secret is the one that ties them all together, giving them context and meaning. It is the often unspoken key to vitality, the one that medical charts don't measure but that has a profound impact on health outcomes: the cultivation of purpose and social connection. As humans, we are not just biological machines. We are beings driven by meaning. A sense of purpose, a reason to get out of bed in the morning that goes beyond simple routine, is a powerful psychological anchor. In its absence, especially after major life transitions like retirement or the loss of a partner, a person can feel adrift, which can accelerate both mental and physical decline. The Japanese have a beautiful concept for this, ikigai, which translates roughly to a reason for being. Finding your ikigai in your later years is not a trivial pursuit. It is a health imperative.
Purpose does not have to be a grand, world-changing ambition. It is found in the small, consistent acts of contribution and engagement. Consider Eleanor, an 81-year-old retired librarian from a small town in New England. After she retired, the quiet days stretched before her, empty and unstructured. She felt her world, once filled with books and patrons, had become silent. She felt irrelevant. On a whim, she responded to a call for volunteers at the local elementary school library. Twice a week, she began reading stories to first graders. Seeing their eyes light up, feeling their small hands in hers, and sharing her lifelong love of books gave her a renewed sense of identity. This volunteer work was her ikigai. It gave her a schedule, a reason to get dressed and engage with the world, and a feeling of being needed and valued. This sense of purpose became a virtuous cycle. It motivated her to stay active, eat well, and care for her health so she wouldn't miss her days with the children. This drive for purpose is intrinsically linked to social connection. While loneliness is a quiet feeling, its health consequences are loud and clear. Research has shown that chronic loneliness can be as damaging to one's health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, and depression. Actively seeking out and nurturing social bonds is a vital form of preventative medicine. This could mean joining a club, taking a class, volunteering, participating in a faith community, or simply establishing a regular coffee date with a friend. These connections provide emotional support, intellectual stimulation, and a sense of belonging that is essential for our well-being. They are the fabric that weaves our individual lives into a supportive community. When you combine a strong sense of purpose with a rich network of social connections, you create a powerful buffer against the challenges of aging. You create a life that is not just long, but also deep, meaningful, and joyful. This final secret, the pursuit of purpose and connection, is the very soul of a well-lived life. It is what transforms the act of living into the art of thriving. If this idea of finding purpose resonates deeply with you, we would be honored if you would share in the comments what gives you or a loved one a sense of purpose. Your story could be the spark of inspiration that another member of our community needs to see today. As we draw our journey to a close, it becomes abundantly clear that thriving after 75 is a far more sophisticated and beautiful art than simply putting one foot in front of the other for miles on end. It's about stepping back to see the whole picture, recognizing that true vitality is a magnificent structure built upon several interconnected pillars. It's about nurturing the unwavering stability of your balance, preserving the liberating freedom of your flexibility, and fueling your body with strategic, intelligent nutrition. It means tending to the inner world of your mental and emotional well-being with the same care you give your physical body, actively building functional strength to defy frailty, and igniting your spirit with a profound sense of purpose and connection. The story of aging in America doesn't have to be one of limitation and decline. It can be a story of wisdom, adaptation, and empowerment.
By shifting your focus from the sheer quantity of activity to the comprehensive quality of your health, you are not giving up, you are leveling up. You are choosing a smarter, safer, and more sustainable path to a future filled with more confidence, more joy, and more precious independence. Remember the stories of Helen, Arthur, Linda, Harold, Robert, and Eleanor. They are not fictional ideals. They represent the real transformations that are possible when we embrace this holistic approach. The journey of self-care is a marathon, not a sprint. Be kind to yourself. Start with small, manageable steps. Perhaps this week you'll dedicate just 5 minutes each morning to balance and stretching exercises. Maybe next week you'll focus on adding a source of protein to every meal. These small changes, compounded over time, will build a powerful momentum that can redefine your golden years. After all of this analysis, we are left with a final, crucial question for you. Looking at these 6 essential pillars, what is the single most important lesson you've learned for yourself today? And what is one small step you plan to take this week to put it into action? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments. We read and value every single one. And if this discussion has provided you with insight and value, please show your support by hitting the like button, subscribing to our channel, and sharing this video with someone you care about. Thank you for spending your time with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.